I'm going to open the first hearing, which is for Black River Amato. If I'm not saying that right, feel free to correct me. Is there anyone on the board that for any reason feels they can't participate in this hearing? If not, we'll go ahead and Ula, you want to give the oath?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just have to give it to.
Yep, and state her name so we know who it is.
Christina Amato. Can you hear us, Christina?
I can, yeah,
Okay.
can you guys hear me?
We can. I have to
Yes.
give you your oath, okay? So do you solemnly swear that
wonderful.
the evidence you shall give to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Okay. All right. So at this time, I'm going to ask the listers to introduce
Thank you.
their packets.
There's two there.
So, would Christina
I
have
think-
this or not?
No.
No, okay,
I guess I'll take
But we
one.
can
You
get her,
can-
we can get her a copy.
okay. Christina, the listers will send you a copy of this at a later time.
Right here.
Oh, never mind. Thank you.
We have one? All right, so the subject property is located at 100 Main Street. Current assessment, $985,000. During the grievance, the formal grievance process, the initial value was $1,309,400, and was reduced in grievance due to data presented at the grievance hearing by $324,400. It's important to note that the interior of the property has not been inspected by the assessing office, so we are kind of, using kind of alternative means for interior information. Flipping over to page 2, you get the photos of the subject property. I think we all recognize the property on Main Street.
Yep.
Pretty prominent property right there before the bridge. The back carriage house is a living unit. And then we have 6 comparable sales, all within the village. And you can see those sales and they're described, in each comp. But I am gonna just move to page 7, where you're gonna see a sales comparison report and a grid of all the comps.
Mhm.
So on page 7, kind of that final conclusions page, that comparison sales grid comes directly out of the software that we use to set all the values in town. So this is the same that you would get in a fee appraisal, right? Where the subject is then adjusted to each individual comp to make them apples to apples, right? So we want to be comparing the subject to each comp, and by making adjustments for superiority and inferiorities between the two, right? That's where we get the adjusted sale price for each of the comparables. So if the subject is superior to the comparable in its sale price, the adjusted sale price would be higher than the comparable sale price. Vice versa, if the sale is superior to the subject, the adjusted sale price would be less than the sale price. So try to taking that sale, but now comparing it directly to the subject property and making adjustments for the difference in attributes. All those adjustments are done within the system, and they're done consistently the same way all the rest of the data for valuing every property in town is adjusted. So none of these adjustments are discretionary to me, other than I built the model, right? So when a fee appraisal, when you go to the bank, all the adjustments are gonna be observed adjustments by the appraiser, right? So that's why you're able to challenge that fee appraisal as well, right? So, because those adjustments could be completely arbitrary. These adjustments, and the point I'm trying to make is that these adjustments are made the same as all properties are being treated throughout the entire town. So through that sales comparison analysis, the indicated value is $996,200. We're currently at $985. So in the world of mass reappraisal, the 996.2 validates the 985, right? We're within a breadth of value. So it's the opinion of myself, the assessor, that the current value of 985 should stand. The attachments are gonna be the subject, the subject parcel card and all the data. You'll notice it's a 2-card parcel, and the second card is gonna be that ADU unit in the back. And then comps 1 through 6 are the following parcel cards, so that you can take a look and directly compare data to data with that. That's all I have.
Okay. And now Christina, can I ask questions at
Later.
the end?
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Christina, you want to present your packet?
Sure, and do you guys have a copy of it?
Yes,
Yes.
I don't.
Okay, and the
Yeah,
original
sure.
grievance?
Yes.
I just want to make sure everybody got the packet.
Yes.
No, it should be in there.
Doug,
That's on, no, it wouldn't be on Ryan's.
It's
No.
on this one here.
it looks like this.
Yeah, I got that. If I could share it with you.
Yeah.
Everybody else has some? Okay, we're all set.
Okay, wonderful. Originally, obviously, when we received our assessment, unfortunately, we did not receive the packet in time for the original, what is it, NEMC grievance before the official grievance. So I apologize for that. Our mail system in New York is not so good. But originally, it said on the packet that the townwide average assessment increase was 62%. Our house went up by 192%. So more, it's actually more than 3
Yes,
times
please.
the average per NEMC, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Per their own explanation document, this means the subject now bears a disproportionately higher share of the municipal tax burden relative to the other properties. The comparables, and I very much understand the assessor's position and how they came up with comparables. We were able to pick comparables and looked at comparables that are much closer. It's obviously a unique property that are much closer in age and size and style. And per my cover letter, 20 Plumley Avenue is a multiple occupancy property, also of nearly identical character, era, and use. It was a former B&B with a carriage house, built in 1908. It sold in July of 2025 for $595,000. So 12 Commonwealth Avenue, again, same property class, same year, built around 1900s. It sold in December of 2025 for $540,000. No qualified sale of a comparable multiple occupancy property in Ludlow Village during the analysis period of April to March exceeded $695,000. Per the grid that I sent of the 3 or 4 different properties, 20 Plumley, 12 Commonwealth, 169 Godfrey, their per square foot sales numbers. We were originally assessed at almost $13 a square foot. Their actual sales numbers were $107 a square foot, $124 a square foot, $149 a square foot. Respectfully, the grievance board brought us down to $160 a square foot. I will tell you, having spent a lot of time there at the house and been there recently, we have some definitely serious issues going on with the house, between the roof leaking. We have major damage that was caused inside because of the slate roof, which we're trying to fix. Also in our data, I bring up point 2 to MC's own data showing a pattern of overassessment in the properties that we selected. 12 Commonwealth was overassessed by 17% relative to its actual sales price. 8 Pleasant was overassessed by 13. The village average neighborhood group in which the subject is classified means basically says that our property within the it's over-assessed. Obviously, third-party valuation, Zillow, we all know Zillow is possibly, it runs off of its own algorithms. But its valuation model, which incorporates the same MLS sales data, values the subject at $748,000 with a range of $606 to $906. The other thing is the carriage house. The income, you guys have the income based on income capitalization. You have the carriage house valued at $299. And in the, I believe it was the third page of my original report, we give you what we're actually renting those units. We have somebody local who's been in the top unit for 3 years now, I believe, at $875 a month, which includes all of her utilities, which is a great deal for her. It's a big unit. And then the bottom one, which is a much smaller unit, it's because there's a lot of garage space in the carriage house on the bottom unit. And she's paying similar, but she's only there for a few months of the year, only for January, February, and March. And then the rest of the time it's empty, it's not a full-time, it's not really set up to be a full year rental. Again, the property record and the conditions, besides what I just told you about having roof issues and a bunch of, I don't know if I could share, sorry, I should be better at this, share my screen to show you pictures, but even from the exterior pictures, we have an awful lot of rotten wood, a lot of window.
Christina, that's something that the site committee, they'll observe that. So in an
Okay.
effort to move along,
Speedy,
that,
sure,
yes,
sure.
yeah.
So, based on the property card, it says, the finished area of the main structure is 6,148 square feet, which is only 66% of the gross building area of the 9,294 square feet. So the remaining 34% is unfinished and shouldn't be valued as living space. There is a lot of basement space, a lot of space that is not considered living space, and I believe that may have been an error in the valuation model. I can go through a little bit further if you guys want, the comp by comp, specifically.
We have that in the packet, so I
Okay.
think you don't have to review it one by
I can
one.
review that, okay, this sheet here,
Yes, yeah,
good descriptors of what we believe the differences are. I understand this is a town-wide valuation reval, and that theoretically everybody goes up. The taxes, the amount of dollars that we actually pay will be different based on the assessment, but I believe based on the assessment of other properties in our class that are truly comparable properties, the house should be assessed closer to $800,000. So,
okay.
yes.
Okay, at this time, I'm gonna ask the listers to respond to the appellant's information.
Sure.
And then we can ask questions after this.
Yep, no, so
And
just,
actually, I'm sorry, can I add one other thing? Based on the comparables, at the same square footage of these comparables, at the lowest sales value, which I believe was 12 Commonwealth, the house, if we were to take the per square foot value of that sales value attributed to our home, attributed to our house, the value of the property would actually be 650, or the assessed value would be 658,000, the market value, not 800. So we understand that we're trying to compromise, but truly based on the actual sales data, We're looking for about $130 a square foot, which is, again, compared to our comparables, sales comparables, there was $107 square foot sale, there was $124 square foot sale. So we believe $130 a square foot is
Okay.
fair.
All right, and we have all that in the packet, so go ahead, Brian.
Sure.
Continue.
Yeah, so, just to touch on, the percent of change argument, obviously every value is gonna go up or down a different percentage, right? We have an average, right? But, so like the village and the lakes appreciated more than the rest of the community because those markets changed differently than the mountain. The mountain was already pretty well capped out, saw like 30 to 40% increases, right? The 20 Plumley sale, running as a B&B, there was a bit of distress to that sale. There's also, renovations, definitely, because I believe the intention of the buyer was to convert to a single family. As far as the sale, so when we have assessments that don't match sale price, they're not going to, right? Because we're not using one individual sale to set an individual assessment. We're using all sales to set all assessments. So there's a statistical model that's built based on every sale that's occurred that sets data values. Those values then translate through the database, data points apples to apples. So we're not gonna just sit on the sale price, which is why you'll see in a couple, not this appellant, but in the future, we have a couple that we're below their sale price, and there are reasons why for that. For the ADU, the 2-unit carriage house, the finished basement unit and the first floor unit, we're not using income capitalization for any ADU or any like STR or long-term rental. We're just valuing them market adjusted cost, the same as we're valuing any other structure throughout the community. The big thing here and the big data point that the inspection committee definitely needs to be cognizant of is depreciation. So overall, because we've never been inside the home, we're saying the main building's in good condition. That may not be, and that's something that the inspection committee would really want to take a look at and consider if that good fits the theme of the home as you're walking through. The only other thing just to mention about the square footage, so the 6,147 square feet of finished space is the finished area of the main house and of the ADU.
Oh.
So it's combined. The only place that I would be uncertain of if there is finish is in the attic of the main house, which we are considering as finished, but it may not be. It may be an unfinished attic area. That's all.
Okay. All right, at this point, I'll invite questions from the BCA. I have one question and I'll go first. When you inspected the property, you didn't go inside. Was there a reason why?
No, the same as any. It's a number.
Time, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Terry?
What was the 324,400 reduction for?
So that would be for data that was submitted during the formal grievance.
But what was the data?
It's probably gonna be, I could look at the data card, but it's gonna be probably depreciation, so condition, saying that the building was in much better condition than what it currently is in.
But you said we should look at that, so.
You should still consider that, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna dump, so based on photos and verbal testimony and evidence, I'm not gonna strip a value in half, right?
Okay, yeah.
So, but there obviously was enough evidence for me to consider a pretty massive, adjustment.
Any other questions? Alice?
So Ryan, when we go out to inspect this property, whoever goes, they'll be looking at the carriage house as well, even though Christina kind of regularly referred to the house other than the income from the carriage house. Is that correct? We're going to look at the carriage house as well?
The BCA, for all inspections, must inspect every structure on the property.
Okay.
If for any reason, any part of the property for any inspection is not viewed, the appeal is then withdrawn.
Okay.
So if there's a chicken coop or like a turnout shed out in the field, well, you don't have to go touch that, but if there's a barn, If there's any other structures on the property, you must inspect every structure on the property, because that barn could have an apartment in it, right? And we may not have that in the card. So not in relation to this property, just as a general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Okay, Terry?
I know we've had, the other side of that coin is if they don't let us see something, it's over.
It's
Because
withdrawn.
that happened at a place on Solitude once. They wouldn't let us in 2 areas, and they don't get to grieve anything after that.
Okay,
It's withdrawal.
because that's a good point for people to know. That.
Can I make one, comment relative to the inspection? So-
Christina, I'm gonna let the board ask questions at this
Sure.
point, so
Okay, sorry.
let's finish that. Laura? No? Anybody else? Joyce, Judy? Okay, Christina?
Yes, I'm sorry, I just, per the date of, this assessment, I don't know if you guys have recent pictures, or we just recently, probably within the last few weeks, months, had to replace the back sort of porch stairs into the kitchen side of the house, because it was so badly deteriorated. So we are trying, we are working on some of these issues, but as of the date of inspection, if you go out and inspect today, it'll look better than it did
Okay.
as of the time of assessment.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments from the listers?
No.
If not,
I'll make a motion, we recess this hearing.
would you let me appoint a committee first?
Okay.
You want to be
Jumping the
on
gun
that?
there,
So do I have volunteers for the inspection committee? Alice, Terry, you want to chair?
Sure.
So we have,
Alice, do you want to chair?
okay,
If you wanna do it.
Who do we have?
With Alice,
we-
Terry, and Laura?
And is Laura,
yes.
Terry, are you the chair? You want to be the chair?
I don't want to be, but I will be if nobody else wants to do it.
All right,
Just the 3 of you?
thank you,
And Laura.
thanks.
Okay, wait, can we get contact information or should I wait till the
Yes.
end?
No, actually, let's get the contact information.
Yeah, because I ended up doing it in the
Okay.
hallway last time.
All right,
Laura, what's yours? What's the best way to reach you?
Oh, my phone number, 802
Your cell?
236 7310.
And Alice, I have yours, I think.
okay. Um,
I mean, I know I do.
So, Christina, what we're gonna try to do right now is, make an appointment for the committee to go and do the site visit. So, it would be helpful to have your cell number.
Oh, my cell number, yes,
Yes.
I'm sorry. 970-331-8177.
Are you in town right now?
No,
No?
I'm in upstate New York
There
right
might be
now.
somebody that can let you in.
Oh, you have somebody that can let us in?
Possibly, it depends if you can coordinate, preemptively tell us a time.
Are you guys available this
Ho-
afternoon or tomorrow?
No,
No. They're not
no,
available?
Wait,
we're
hold
like
on
4
a minute.
hours away.
Just a minute, Ryan.
Just if there are tenants, 48 hours is required by Vermont state law for notice.
Oh,
I don't know if there are active tenants in any of the areas.
Yeah, she said there's a
She
full-time
said there was
tenant.
2 tenants in the carriage house, didn't she?
Well, it sounds like one, because one's only there January through March. So there'll be only one tenant.
Okay,
Is there
so let's
anybody-
move it out, just to be safe.
48 hours.
Move it out
48
2
hours.
days.
Okay.
So,
Can you have somebody there on Sunday?
I can't do Sunday.
You can't do Sunday? How about Monday?
I will have to call. We have, somebody who, takes care of the house.
what, after Monday, I'm gonna suggest that the committee pick a time that works with them. And Christina, maybe if you can't be there, arrange for somebody to let the committee view the property, okay? So,
Yep.
go ahead,
Okay.
come up with your time
Okay.
after Monday.
You can't do it Monday, you said?
No, I can't, Sunday, I can't.
Sunday, Monday, can you do it, Alice? Monday?
Monday morning I can't, but.
Monday afternoon?
No.
Okay, what time?
What do you mean?
1 o'clock?
Sure.
1 o'clock on Monday for the committee.
Okay, I will see. I'm not sure that I have to connect with, the
Okay,
person who is able to let somebody into the house. We also have to let, I'm not sure of Beth's schedule, who lives upstairs.
okay. We allowed for that in the schedule of this hearing, so, our visitation. All right, so, Doug,
Make a motion, we recess this hearing.
okay?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're recessed.
I gotta do this one, right? Okay.
Thank you guys for your time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So, the next hearing is, Patricia Archibald.
Just get this
And
one.
let me just, and Ula, who you gave her the oath already. And I'm gonna recuse myself from this hearing, and Terry will,
Which I've never done before, so bear with me.
so. It's
Okay, do we have any? Yeah, I don't know if this is Jean's or mine. Do we have anyone on our, that has conflict of interest or ex parte communications with this client? With this appellant? Is there anybody that needs to recuse themselves besides Jeannie?
I mean, other than knowing her, what are you talking about? You mean, if we really have a conflict?
Just
Probably everybody.
if there's any conflict of interest, that's all. Nope. Okay, I would ask the listers right now to introduce the subject property on appeal.
Sure. So, subject property 61 Andover Street, current assessment $709,900. The initial assessment for the 2026 reappraisal was $781,100 and was reduced by $71,200 during the formal grievance process. The property was last inspected in 2014. However, there have been improvements made to the property since that inspection date. The property also sold in 2021, and there have been excuse me here. This property sold in 2021 for $510,000. So market appreciation from that point, as well as, again, there are physical changes to the property to which the extent of is in question. So that's gonna be the biggest point of, focus for the inspection committee, is really, what has been renovated recently, and really, like, what quality is it? Did they go to RK Miles, or do they go to Lowe's and Home Depot, right? So that's really kind of the theme that you wanna paint as you're walking through the home. There are a lot of village sales, so again, I'm not gonna explain that entire comp sale process, but it's the same process as the prior, using the comps, and adjustments within the system. And that rendered a indicated value of $722,600. And again, justifying and really just, the advice of the assessor's office is to maintain the $709,900 assessment on it. Attachments are again subject property card and all the comparable property cards as well, with all their specific data. And that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna now invite the appellant or his or her representative to present their appeal.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here. Sure.
This was taken this morning, and it's a loop, so that's the inside of my house. So, good morning, my name is Pat Archambault. For the last 12 to 15 years, I've volunteered at Okemo as a mountain ambassador. I rented seasonally for many years. I'm not sure if I have enough for everybody.
Oh, sure.
This was everybody would be here. And here's one.
Oh, if you have another list.
Sure.
In June of 2021, I purchased 61 Andover Street, retiring here with plenty of room for friends, family, and guests to visit. During the last 5 years, I have performed routine maintenance, but outside of that, there have been no additions, renovations, or major changes to the house. I do not rent the house. I purchased the house for $510. The bank appraisal supported that value, coming in at $512, and that's the evidence. On May 27th, I received my first notice of my assessed value, which was at $781,100. This is my evidence. On June 2nd, I acquired my lister's card. It contained 3 data errors. 1 extra bedroom, 1 extra bathroom, and the square footage was overstated by approximately 900 square feet. On June 13, I met with Mark. This was a scheduled interview with a representative of the assessor's office. After providing evidence and discussing the data errors, I was informed correcting these would reduce the house value by $100,000, placing the house in the 680 range. This was what I brought to that meeting, and here's my little note showing that I was informed it would be reduced by $100,000. On June 13th, I met with Mark. This was a scheduled interview with a representative of the assessor's office. After providing evidence and discussing the data errors, on June 16th, I received a written notice of the result of the grievance, valuing the house at $709,900. And the house was now classified as a 2-family, a new data error. No explanations or confirmation of corrections accompanied the notice, so I had no idea of what the changes were at that time. On July 22nd, I stopped by the assessor's office, and Ryan provided his logic regarding the variance in the house's value. Ryan informed me the 30K variance is within the 10% acceptance margin of error, and therefore there was no issue. He also informed me there was no significance to the house being labeled 2-family. I accept the 10% margin of error rule. However, I challenge Ryan's conclusion that the value should increase. I think it should decrease. My research led to an acceptable value between $612 and $650, and current market conditions support homes selling in the $500,000 range. I would like to have an accurate description of my house on file at the lister's office. This is an excellent opportunity to set the record straight, correct the data errors, and make sure there are no others. Neither Ryan or his team have been inside my house. I think it makes sense to conduct an actual inspection of the property, and I look forward to the next steps. Other supporting documentation that I can submit is comparative market analysis, which show that really houses are now selling in the 500,000, which I know that doesn't entirely have anything to do with the value of my house. I stopped at the lister's office on June 1st, June 2nd, and July 22nd. And every single one of these had different information on them. So it was very difficult for me to try and come to some type of a conclusion. But I would like to present, these are lister's cards. This is my neighbor at 59. She's right next door. She basically has the exact same house. Well, I shouldn't say exact same house. She does have less square footage, but she has a garage, which is not included in the square footage. Her value is at $619,700. She has one more bathroom than I do, and I believe the same number of bedrooms. This is 82 Andover Street, and the reason that I wanted to present this is because this is Mount Laurel Ski Lodge, which is right up the street from me, which has 21 rooms, 15 bedrooms, 8 3/4 baths, and 2 baths. And it was appraised
at $738,700, which my house was appraised at more than that. And this is 43 Pleasant Street, which to me is pretty much a replica of my house as far as the square footage, the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms. It's got 1 bath, 1 3/4 bath, 1 half bath. It's got 4 bedrooms. It does have 3,329 square feet, and that's being valued at $540,600. So that's my evidence and my spiel. Any questions?
Whoever the committee is, would they be allowed to take all those documents?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite Ryan to respond to the information presented by,
Yeah, so first I'll just respond, to the use of the bank appraisal from 2021. It just obviously dated, right? So that's something that we wouldn't consider today as, relevant market
I
value.
get it, but it is an entry.
Sure, it justifies the 510 and the starting point. As far as the interaction at the formal grievances with Mark, all levels of appeal are de novo, meaning that we start anew at each level. Mark's also not a project supervisor, so while, may have misspoken, but, an indication that there were gonna be value changes, whatever it may be, it really has no bearing on the decisions rendered. I took the information from the hearing and, as the project supervisor, adjusted the value. So, and again, being de novo, that would not matter, just like this hearing will not matter if we go to a state hearing officer or superior court. We start all over again from scratch. The big thing here is gonna be, again, quality of the interior and quality of the overall construction of the home. So, the home is graded as a D- overall construction grade. And that's something that the inspection committee should consider at the, overall finishes and interior are not good, right? So we have everything up as good, rendering 32% depreciation. Bedroom count throughout the entire town, and this will be a theme probably for most of these. We do not allocate a value per bedroom. We can't. The definition of a bedroom and bedroom count and what septics are rated for and all the information that truly dictates bedroom count is very ambiguous and is not necessarily valid from property to property. Because in mass reappraisal, I need to be able to weigh data points of which I can count on and which I can use consistently. Because bedroom count, I can't. We obviously record it. We want it to match how the property could legally be sold, but changing a bedroom count from 3 to 4 does not add or subtract any amount of dollars, right? It's gonna be square footage, location, quality, condition, and then the quality condition of each fixture on the inside. Bathrooms can all be graded independently. Kitchen can also be graded independently from the rest of the building as a whole. So those are gonna be, again, kind of the inspection committee's aims. And then the only other thing I wanted to, that's it.
So,
I'm gonna invite questions from the BCA first, and then I'll ask you for your questions. Anybody on the BCA have a query? Alice?
How is Mountain Laurel Ski Club rated? Is that commercial or is that considered residential?
It is. So that building is built more as a specific spec use as a commercial building. So, economies of scale, volume isn't always worth, double. If you have 2 of one thing, having 6 isn't 3 times the value, right? Having 6 of something, having 24 isn't that same multiplier. Economies of scale, so the higher the carrying costs, as well as they have a ton of covenant restrictions on that property. I'm glad you brought that up. This was the other thing I wanted to speak of. That property has a lot of distinct characteristics specific to that property only that are covenant restrictions within the deed that devalue that property. And that property also the more count doesn't necessarily equal more value because you're incredibly limited in legally what you can use it for. So it can only be used for that club. If it's to be sold, it can be sold to members of a club. So there's a lot of legal differences there. Obviously, you look at sticks, right? You know, bones to bones, yeah, it's gonna be superior as far as like size and count of bedrooms, bathrooms, so on. But there are other factors that do come to play with fair market valuation.
Okay. Okay, you may respond now to
I
the
was just curious
information.
about the importance of having the square feet accurate, because that's the issue, the biggest issue to me with my house is that it's had the wrong square feet since I purchased it in 2021, which I was unaware of. I don't know.
So we have a finished square footage of 3,576 square feet. Every property is measured from the exterior throughout the entire town. So there likely is gonna be a discrepancy between, there will be discrepancy if there's an interior measurement versus an exterior measurement. Interior measurements obviously are omitting wall thickness as well as sometimes like closets, like dead space, stuff like that. We do have that out and back over, looks like the converted barn, if it is converted.
There was a barn in there, I mean, what you have in your information and what I'm now living in is so different.
Sure, and again, because our you know.
There was I think there was a barn in the back, there actually next to us, yes, and
Yep.
over that is dead space.
Yep.
And that's what was included as usable space.
Which we have unfinished. It is considered unfinished space as in the current value. So that space is saying it's a half story, but in the alt areas, in the sub area detail, we are unfinishing that half story space. So we're saying it exists, but we're saying there's no drywall, electrical, heating, flooring, nothing in there. It's just a dead attic space. Below that, which I would consider like the converted barn, we are saying the entire first floor of that is finished as living space. That also might not be 100% true, so another kind of thing to look at. At this time too, and I have written into all of these documents, I am gonna verbally ask to accompany the inspection committee for this inspection. It is however up to the appellant to allow me to do that and to allow me to then give my data to the inspection committee, as I would if I were to go inspect any other home, you know, during our, you know, day-to-day, you know, typical work day-to-day. But again, that is up to the appellant to allow me to accompany the inspection committee. And then she also needs to allow me to give the inspection committee any data that I record during that inspection for your use.
So you're an appraiser, you have an appraisal license.
I have through the tax department, yes, I'm a project supervisor.
So when you are measuring like the outside, so you've never been inside, so you had no idea that there was that dead space up there? Is that what you're saying? It's like you just measure all around the outside?
Originally, no, and then through the grievance process and our prior conversations, that data was changed. So therefore, why you have different data on each one of your cards is because data was changed. From 2025 to the preliminary.
Right, no, I
And
get
then data
that,
was changed at the formal to now.
Yeah.
So you should have 3 cards with different data on them.
I do, and it's very hard to get a handle on it. So I apologize if I'm not doing a good job with this, but,
No.
I
No,
think
it's
I
fine.
think the data entry, the data error approach is more difficult because you want comparisons and you want market value, but if you don't have the data right.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, I say this all the time. All of our values are data-derived values, right? So if the data's wrong, the value's wrong, right? So we do our best and we have many data points, which allows us to feather in value. So like the big thing here was bedrooms. Bedrooms were always the only way that any assessor lists or valued property in the past, because the old software was the only data point that they really could hone value in on. And so they would add $25,000, $30,000 per bedroom. That's turned into a bedroom obsession with all taxpayers in Vermont. I'm telling you, it's not, if I change a bedroom count from 7 to 30, it won't change the value at all, because I can't legally say for every property what it could sell for as a bedroom count, because no adequate records have ever been kept in the state of Vermont to justify that.
How about
So-
bathrooms?
Okay,
Yeah,
at this
bathrooms,
time,
yeah.
I'm gonna invite any final questions from the BCA. Does anybody else have a question on the BCA? All right, I'm gonna appoint an inspection committee of at least 3 members who'd
I'll
like to.
go.
Okay, so we got Doug.
I'll go.
and Judy, and anybody else?
Ryan. And I'll make this information available.
Is it okay with you if Ryan is part of the committee?
I wanna think about that a
Okay,
little bit.
okay. And Doug, Judy, we need one more person.
I'll do it.
You'll do it?
Yeah.
Joe? Okay. Joyce, so Doug, what's your contact information?
My home phone number,
Okay,
802
228.
8047.
And Judy,
You have mine.
I know, but I
Oh,
gotta give it to the committee. I'm gonna give it to the chair. Oh, wait, first, who would like to chair? Doug, Judy, Joyce, who would like to be the chair?
I'll let Judy.
Okay.
Doug.
Okay, Judy, what's your contact information? I might put it
802.
on, oh, well, you probably don't need it because this, you're gonna have all these documents.
Right,
Okay, 802, I'll put it on here.
591
591 1281.
81.
And
Mhm.
Joyce? I know I have yours, but on another sheet.
Yeah, okay, 802.
802
345
345
7230.
7230. And your contact information, Mrs. Archibald?
401
401
575
575
1603.
1603. And what's everybody's availability? Should we,
Well, do we want to give Pat some time to think about whether she wants Ryan there?
Pat, would you like your place inspected within the next few days?
I'm actually, I'm heading to a friend's.
Okay.
For the weekend, so I'm away until like Monday, anyway.
Does Monday work for the committee?
I can do Monday morning.
Monday morning, would that work for everybody?
Works for me.
Monday morning,
I'm going to say 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, does that work for everybody?
If I'm allowed, yes.
AM, obviously.
That's August 3rd.
That's August 3rd, yeah.
Okay, what time?
When will we know
10 o'clock,
that you're
8.
allowing Ryan to go?
10 o'clock AM. Obviously.
I don't have an answer for you right now. I didn't realize that would be part of this, because I would like to.
Ryan, what's your contact information for Mrs. Archibald so she can
My
contact?
cell is 508 265 2584.
I just got 508, Ryan.
Yep, 265
Yep.
2584.
Judy, you took your own notes, but do you want to?
Yeah, I'll take those two.
Okay, so
Um,
here's,
So who should Pat contact with her decision?
Ryan, she'll contact Ryan whether he's going to join you or not. Does the
Okay.
committee want to meet here at 10 and then head out to Andover together? Okay, so everybody
Sure.
would meet at the town hall,
Sure.
outside or inside? Because we had this problem yesterday.
Yes, we
Oh,
Are we inside the town hall in Doug's office, meeting there at 10
Sure.
10 o'clock?
sure.
Okay,
I'll
It's
try to
at
get
the
back
end
to
of the
Ryan by
building, yeah.
tomorrow.
What'd you
okay,
say?
I just
My
wanted to
office is
know
at the end of the building.
I know it.
Oh, okay.
okay, I guess we're ready.
I make a motion, we recess this hearing.
You have a second? We need a second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Judy, that's nerve-wracking. That's nerve-wracking, Jean. Take it over.
Okay, give me all those papers.
Yep, here.
Thank you.
So here is, next one here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Ryan's passing out the attachment, or the information
Wait a
for
second.
this hearing. I'll open this
I
hearing
think there's something I should have.
for Ann
Is there
Wingate.
something you're missing?
Yeah, all my information on this one.
And
I think I gave you the appellant stuff.
she was there. And look, do you want to do the oath?
No, that's yours. Yep, this one. Thank you. Wait, those are your notes. Is mine?
That's
there?
not my writing.
Mine, it's mine.
I know, but I gotta find mine for that.
Lisa, can you hear me?
What about this?
Anytime.
Let's see.
I'm
This
in
is,
hearings probably until later. in the
this is it, the
Okay.
Amato.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, no, thank you.
That's it.
Oh, this is the Wingates. Oh, no, this must be the Gias. I don't know. This is the
Wingates.
Yes.
You all set?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Lisa, can you hear us?
You're
Lisa.
on mute.
You're muted.
That's Ann.
Unmute.
Sorry about that. I'm working on my laptop and my phone. So
Okay.
I'm only to hear you. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
I have to give you the oath first, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
So do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I'm sorry, I did not hear that. I apologize.
Okay, this is just an oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay?
Yes.
All right. So, Ryan, you want to present your packet here?
Sure.
Everybody have it?
So the subject property is located at 63 Lakeshore Drive. The current assessment, $1,061,400. During the grievance process, the value was lessened $58,000 based on evidence and data presented at the time. Again, during the mass reappraisal, different areas of town are gonna change value differently, appreciate differently. The lake and the village appreciated the most, the lake especially. The lake is really starting to show its value for the full 4-season effect, right? So it's not just a lake home, it's also a ski home. So that's why we see some of the highest lake sales and highest shoreline values on Lake Rescue. And even Lake Pauline, even though Lake Pauline is definitely starting to, I would say, not appreciate at the same rate at all as Lake Rescue is for obvious reasons, right? Obviously, the closer you get to this, even the closer you get to the beginning of East Lake Road, that's really, we're hardly even putting any value on waterfront there at all. So think of it as a thermometer going from the southern end of East Lake Road all the way up to Lake Rescue and the Plymouth line. Value is gonna increase as you move up. And then there's also gonna be value increases for types of frontage, so long lake views of so on and so forth, which is captured in all of our lakeshore, lake frontage modifiers. Again, had a good amount of sales to use. There were 6 sales using the exact same comp comparison module within the system. The big, stuff on East Lake Road, the big one just to consider is comp 6, 55 Red Bridge Road. It is incredibly small, and it's on a postage stamp lot with less than 50 linear feet of frontage. And that sold for $700,000. So just as far as pound for pound, right? And when you're using just, when you're using sales as a benchmark for market value, it's a feeling of this property is how inferior to the subject or the appellant's property, right? So just as something that is, just like very, very small, again, just on Red Bridge Road with access to the water, the price that does demand for something so minimal, right? So indicated value through our sales analysis is $1,136,000. Again, justifying the current assessment, of which it's my opinion the value should stay at the current assessment of $1,061,400.
Okay. Lisa or Mrs. Wingate, would you like to present?
Yes, and I apologize. We were supposed to be there today and we were not able to make it because of the storm we're in Connecticut right now. So I have a lot of documentation, but either I can try and share it on the screen or we can submit it later. But what I wanted first to start out, and I have talked to Ryan obviously on June 13th, and it's part of the grievance process. And what we are arguing, obviously, yes, Lake Rescue has a very high value, especially for the land. What we're arguing is the fact that the house value increased by 115%, or the building value by 115%. The land didn't even increase that much. That was 71%. So what our grievance is concerning the fact that, you know, the house hasn't been looked at by anyone in 7 years. The last pictures were 2019, I believe. And it is definitely failing. There's a lot of structural problems. And we're working on getting those fixed. But the house was built in 1905. It's got it had an addition put on in 1993, and then, or 1992, and then another one small in 1997. But, you know, part of the floor is sinking. We need to jack it up. It's affecting some of the sliders, you know, so there's a lot of issues with the house. As I mentioned to Ryan in our meeting, our bulkhead, which the well sits behind it is failing. So we need to have that fixed so that the well doesn't fall into the lake. So we have a couple of things like that. My biggest thing is that the site map doesn't reflect the proper, for instance, it says we have a finished basement, a partial finished basement, which we do not. It's just a poured concrete walkway, very short to get to the access, the electrical, the furnace. And we don't have the rest of the basement underneath the house is dirt floors, low ceilings, and it is not accessible by the house, from the house. So we were hoping that we could visit so that we could see that for true, because we haven't had any, we haven't done anything to the house in quite a while. My father's been failing. My father finally passed away this May, and so we're starting to try and, my mom and I are starting to try and fix these things that are wrong with the house. But, you know, I mean, I know this is not an emotional meeting, but just to say that it has been in the family since 1905, we don't want to sell it. So, but we also are going to have to rent it probably, so we need to fix all of these things that are wrong with the house. So anyway, that's my my pitch, and I'll take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. At this point, we'll let Ryan respond.
Sure. Yeah, so just, you know, building value obviously did increase over 100%, but it went from $142,200 to $248,000. So the ADU at 100 Main Street is valued at like $235,000. So just as point of reference, right? So the vast majority, we have $811,000 of the land, which is what it's worth. So the basement finish was removed and was part of the grievance value change, so that is no longer incorrection on the record. But again, so just, and this is just a theme that I just, the BCA to understand, so because the percentage of change is the easiest tangible kind of thing to grasp, right? So like, but you could have 1,000% change in the value goes from $100 to $1,000, right? $10,000, right? So it's still relative to the actual value. So just again, because you're going to hear percent change arguments consistently. So again, buildings at 248,000, which again is within $10,000 value of the ADU at 100 Main Street for equity. That's all.
Okay.
Can I just have a question. You're saying it's 248, but I have 306.
So you don't have our post grievance data card potentially?
So that's where you brought the $58,000 down?
Yep.
Because
So
it was 306?
All the value came off of the building. Yeah, I didn't touch the land.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So questions from the BCA? Anybody have questions? No questions? Any other comments? If not, I'll appoint an inspection committee to go out and view the property. Do I have volunteers?
I'll go look at it,
Okay,
I will too.
Doug, Laura?
but I don't wanna be the chairperson.
Come on, Doug.
Well, at some point, you may not have an option. Okay? Laura, and if Terry's willing to chair,
Yeah, I'll do it.
okay.
Judy, can I
All
copy your
right.
numbers over from the other
You
sheet?
can have that.
So,
I mean,
I've
numbers.
appointed the inspection committee, and now,
Sorry.
before we recess this, Terry will need contact information from people that she doesn't have it for. I think Lisa and Mrs. Wingate, you want to give us a good number to call.
I'm so sorry about your dad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's tough. Are you available Monday? Are you guys available Monday, like at noonish, or?
Well, we've got a 10
We got the
o'clock.
other one at 1 o'clock, so I thought maybe we could have this one before that. Like at
Sure.
what time? Because then we have the library after that, bookstore.
I know, I know.
11 or 12, whatever.
11:30? Meet in your office? Would that work for you, Mrs. Wingate, if we come at 11:30 on Monday?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're gonna meet here at 11:30, so we'll get out there probably like 11:45. You'll have lunch ready for us, right? I'm just kidding.
That's on the deck, yeah.
Okay, so we'll be there like 11:40 on Monday, or 11:45.
Do you have
Would you
their
give a phone
contact?
number?
And, yeah, can I get your phone number, Mrs. Wingate? Your phone number?
Yes, 802-952-9231.
Okay, we'll only contact you if something happens, we don't come. Wait, Doug, what's your number again?
8047.
8047.
228.
Yeah. And Laura,
02,
I just-
236,
236 7310. Thank you.
Okay,
Alice says we
motion
won't
to
get this.
I'll
recess.
make a motion, we recess this hearing.
I'll second.
Second by Terry, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay,
All right, where are we here?
okay, we are at
Gia Farm.
Gia Farm.
Okay, wait, I gotta find my Gia Farm.
Ryan just passed out his
What is all
Handed
this?
it to you.
Is this,
packet.
Help her close out here.
hang on,
Let her be done.
Pat.
I don't think it's clear to her that she's all done. It's under Bain, thank you.
Lisa, we've just recessed this hearing.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, I'm looking for the Gia Farm stuff. What does it look
Oh, you
like?
just got it, or did you not get it?
I don't know. Is this it?
Right here.
Oh, okay,
Here we go.
thank you.
Okay. So we're gonna open the hearing for Gia Farm. And
Yeah, swear that guy in.
she already been sworn in. And Ryan, will you present the packet that you have?
Yes. So this is gonna be a little bit of a curveball of one here. So, original value, $1,595,000. Post grievance value, $1,629,800.
Whoa.
So the value did increase. So I did review, obviously as part of the grievance review, the entire parcel. If you look, the best way to describe it is if you look on page 3, you'll see a map of the land. So this primarily, unless the appellant could obviously argue the building, I didn't, this isn't to my knowledge about building value at all. So the building value, I believe, has been sussed out, this is primarily about land, the location of that land, and the value of the land on how it's currently formatted. So you can see the entire parcel, it spans both sides of the road. And then the southeasterly part, there are 3 1-acre parcels that run along the westerly side of Stony Fields. Those are 3 subdivided parcels, of which were erroneously not valued prior to the formal grievance. And during the formal grievance, I did make concessions to the appellant's opinion about their overall neighborhood, which sets the base value of all the land, going from a rural mountain very good to a rural mountain good, which I did after agreed with the appellants, it should be in that lower neighborhood category, because their land on Gia Farm Road is it is the transitional line of value between good, very good, and then excellent, trail side. So whenever we delineate neighborhoods, we try to look for physical breaks. Their property is in fact that break. They are the line, right? So I went on the higher side of the fence. They've convinced me they should be on the lower side of the fence, which I did change. However, I did add the individual values for each of the 3 subdivided lots, which were missed in the original valuation, of which were also brought to the attention of the prior reappraisal, going through the state hearing officer, going through the state appeals process. To value this, we have to look at the land in a couple different ways. Bulk acreage, right? So the majority of all the acreage that is not subdivided. There's a sale that occurred on McGinnis Drive, all the way on the end of town by the water treatment plant. It was 74 acres. That sold for $495,000. It's being valued, so in the excess acreage on Gia Farm is being valued comparable to that. Oh, do I not have their subject card in this? You're kidding me. So I do have it, their excess acreage value is on the bottom of page 1. The subject's data card is not currently included. That's an error on my part. I didn't staple it in, didn't print it. No, it's fine. So at the bottom of page 1, you'll see the subject land valuation, and it breaks down how we're valuing each component of the land. 2-acre house site value, $305,000. So that's the 2 acres around the house and the location, right? Each 1-acre lot is valued at $180,000 a piece. There are big negative adjustments on that for its location, being it's right on that corner. So I took 25% off each of those lots because of where they are in that corner, and that they aren't necessarily the best 1-acre lots. But the current use excess acreage, the 88 acres, is valued at $375,000. We have 74 acres of vacant land as far away as you can be and still be in Ludlow, selling for $495,000. So that shows equity of the excess land value. Comp 2 is going to be Spalding Farm Road, and a vacant land sale of a 1-acre parcel on Spalding Road. If you look at page 3, under comparable 2, you'll see that parcel map. The yellow highlighted lot in the top right-hand corner, 57.1, is the parcel that's sold. That sold vacant for $371,000. Now, its proximity to the base lodge is literally across the street, right? So that's as hot as it gets as far as vacant land value of which we have that sale. In the 3 lots that are circled down below, the 3 subject properties, 1-acre lots, I want to show the distance between them, right? They're relatively close. However, they are valued starkly differently, even though they are very close. I'm at less than half on each of those 1 acre lots. So that is gonna be most likely the point of contention for the grievance. So just wanted to really show you 0.96 acres across the street from the base lot, sold, sale price indication, $371,000. 3 literally identical lots, however, further away, not on the other side of town, we're talking quarter mile, half mile, at less than half that value. Because I'm considering the location on the curve, I'm considering economies of scale. They have 3 lots for sale, of which if they were to list them all at once, they'd be devaluing each one, right? They want to phase them in, as well as the bulk acreage that they also have as well, right? So there's a lot of acreage there, so we need to devalue it, economies of scale. Having more of something doesn't mean every piece, every unit is pound for pound valued the same. And then comparable 3 is another comp that justifies that excess acreage value, the current use value. That's gonna be on Raymond Road. And that has a lot of wetland issues, but again, that sale price is just justifying the excess acreage value, showing equity there on the 88 acres. So as far as the building, it's old farmhouse, no frills, as far as I'm concerned. We have the building, all the improvements of the building and the outbuildings are in at $408,600. The land, the major component of the value, $1,221,200. And that's all I have.
Okay. All right, and we'll hear from Mrs. Gia or her representative.
So, my mother is gonna let me speak.
Good, good.
Michael Gia, and Barbara Gia's son. All right, so Ryan is right, we're not contesting the building values. Though I didn't check, you did change the barn?
I believe I did. I didn't stay on the car, but I looked at it and I don't think it's in for much at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll check though.
Yeah, because the barn had gone up and then the barn is deteriorating, so. No, the main contention is the land value, and when we first went to, so I'm gonna make 3 arguments. We first went to Ryan during the grievance process. We were originally actually in residential, prior to we'd been in residential Mountain Good. We were in this new assessment, we were in residential Mountain Excellent. We argued that we shouldn't be in Excellent and that there should be a dividing line on the road, and we really appreciate Ryan's consideration for that. We pointed out 2 different options, the way to go. One is we immediately abut to the east of us on Crossroads was residential Mountain Good, right, which is where he's placed us now. However, immediately to the south of us, it goes to residential rural Good. When you come up West Hill Road, you get to the fork, Gia Farm Road goes to the right, and then West Hill Road continues to the left of the fork. As soon as you go across, as soon as you make that left, you're crossing into rural residential Good. As a matter of fact, 396 West Hill Road, which is in rural residential Good, immediately abuts our property. And so we're arguing, that we really, one of the arguments is that we really belong in that neighborhood, particularly because we're one of the most rural properties up there, that us and the Pilata Farm, which is in that residential rural Good zone, and therefore their property is being valued differently. Our property is 93 acres, theirs is 125. I can pass around the map, I'm gonna circle the 2 properties, just for perspective. You can also see where the fork is and the dividing line is. So right now, our 2 acre site is 305,000 and theirs is 240. And we just feel like it's more appropriate that there's no justification for our property being not in rural residential good. The second argument was that when we were discussing the land issue with Ryan during the grievance process, I pointed out that the most valuable land that we own is immediately across the street from our home. If you look at that, if you look at the map, you can see that, those of you who've been up there, know that if you were to build on that land, you would have superior views because you wouldn't have the view of the road or the power lines. Nobody could build in front of you. That would be the most valuable land. He said, well, we can't value that land differently. So I would suggest that the land value should be better distributed and not just solely on the 2-acre house site. What he said to us is we couldn't add the value there because we were not making any effort to sell that land. And then that came up with the discussion on the 3-acre sites. And we reiterated what we did 5 years ago, which is those lots were created in about 1977. We have never marketed them. We are not marketing them. So it seems to me to be a complete deviation to change this as if we were marketing. They are a part of the whole. We still own them. We're not marketing. We have no permits. We've never sought permits for those 3-acre sites. It struck me as odd to say that these were missed. On every assessment, they have been listed separately as separate lots. It's not like they weren't ever given value by the town, but they were given the value that they gave all the other excess acreage. And as a matter of fact, in our first assessment, so while in the previous assessment, we were $3,500 an acre. In this assessment, it went to $4,200 an acre, like all of our other excess land, until we went to the grievance. And then all of a sudden, it jumped from $4,200 an acre to $180,000 an acre. Nothing has changed. Those lots have been there since the 70s. We're not marketing them, have never marketed them, not sought permits. They're a part of the property. And so they shouldn't be valued as if they are lots for sale at that very high value. And then the third argument, and maybe I'm bearing the lead a little bit, but we got an appraisal done that put the value of the property at $1.2 million, which we just got that back in the last week. So what I did was I also looked at the Pilata Farm assessment, and the Pilata Farm is assessed at 1.7, but they're at 125 acres, we're only 93. They have a completely rebuilt house, which as he just said, we don't. So if you kept the houses at the same value and adjusted for the acres, their value, their assessment would drop to $1,150,000, so about 1.2 million. So our main argument is that those 3-acre lots should not be valued like that. If you took that valuation and reset it back to the 4,200, we'd be at 1.1 million. Now we understand, if I'm telling you it's worth 1.2, there's gonna have to be some adjustment there to bring it to 1.2, but it's not at 1.6 or almost 1.7 now. So that's our argument.
Okay, thank you. Ryan, response?
Sure. So the first response will be to the RRG, the rural residential good. When you go off to the left there, obviously that land and those lots, the majority of it, as you go up trailside, they're not quality lots, right? It's a bunch of switchbacks, it's incredibly steep, very small lots, tough access. Again, delineating neighborhoods for master appraisal is not easy, and they're like a nexus of a pinwheel, basically, of where all land values kind of go. So as you can see, I've been back and forth between one or the other as we go along, because these are actually the lines. So we're literally saying, are we one tick on this side of the fence or one tick on that side of the fence? So as far as like having massive differences in value, there isn't. So even seeing like 305,000 to the 240 going to the RRG, that's only going to affect the first acre. The rest of the land will be valued the same in the RRG neighborhood as well. It's going to affect the first acre, and it's going to affect the value of each of the 3 subdivided acres that are out. Those 3 acres are, yes, they're on the map. doesn't matter whether the intent is to sell them or not, the matter is that they could be sold, right? They're standalone subdivided parcels of which could be marketed and sold individually at any given time. The intent of which is irrelevant to the value, right? So, between that, it's really gonna just come down to those equity comps and considering those, as well as, when you go and view, and you do have to view the buildings too, just because, but obviously the focus will be on the land and looking at the location of those 3 lots and what you feel, they should be worth, between, my evidence as well as the appellants and the equity comps the appellant has provided.
Questions from the BCA? Look, Terry?
There's no way you could include those lots into your current use? Because you're not gonna develop them.
Yeah, so it's definitely become, if this stands, that's definitely a consideration, honestly.
Because save you a lot of
Because-
money.
Right, and because the value in the past has never justified putting those in. The reason those were excluded is because there was already subdivisions, so my father put that in the 70s, right? And so he felt like it made sense to just exclude them when he enrolled it while he was still alive back in 2007 or something like that. And so we just kept them out because it really was not affecting the valuation so much. I have 2 adult sons now. My brother has 3 children. So it's likely that those would more likely become family properties. And so we were trying to avoid paying the current use penalty if we ever, if one of our sons wanted
Oh, I
to
get
build
it,
on it
yeah.
and so forth. And, so, we already paid the penalty because which wasn't that bad because it was at like $3,500 an acre, but because when my father died in 19, I went through and I also got our forest management plan redone. And I was noticing that the tax map said what our survey said and what the current use said didn't line up. And I realized, well, we needed to add another 0.1 acre or something that was missed. So we paid the penalty then to make sure it was excluded. It's about just keeping those options
Yeah.
open.
I get it.
I've asked for volunteers to serve on the committees. Well,
I'll
I've
do
only
it.
got 2 left. Terry, I'll be on it as well. Need one more. Judy? Good, thank you. Okay, when do we want to go?
Monday morning.
Yeah, Monday morning works for me.
Does it work for you?
Are you going to
I've got a 10.
I guess the question is, do you need me there to look at the?
Oh, yeah, you do have to go in the house, though. Right, you always have to go in the house, even though
It's just
the house
rules.
isn't being, contested.
Because that's the
That's the
rule.
law.
Yeah.
Right, we're not gonna,
I mean, that's up to her. I have meetings up in Norwich on Monday,
Okay.
so.
but we're gonna.
I know, we
it's
just,
part
gotta-
of
it's
the-
just part of what we have, just part of what we have to
Right.
do, though.
So,
It's,
so
let me-
I'll just say this, playing devil's advocate. So it would create a technicality where if you were to go further and appeal, I would exploit it. So let them peek in the room, peek inside and be done with it. I'm just being 100% honest.
There's also
Right.
pictures of it inside,
Well,
including, I think, laundry.
okay,
It's
so,
in their person.
we're gonna come up with a time that works for everybody. I can't do it too early Monday, like.
I'm at
after.
10, but I have one at 10
Okay,
of these,
And I went at 11 and one at 1.
so.
I do it at 12.
12 on
Yeah.
Monday.
12 noon.
Gene, may I?
Yes,
Yes.
I would strongly suggest starting to spread these out a little bit. You guys, I think you're on an arbitrarily short timeline for no reason.
Okay,
And,
Just
you're-
it's my
you're
day
adding-
off.
You're adding a lot of,
we can do it next Monday.
yeah.
The Monday after.
Monday
The
the
10th.
10th.
I'm in Maine.
Okay. Pick another day.
I'm just gonna have to bring Lily, but that's okay. We're just looking at the land in front of the house. It's beautiful. It's that field.
We know.
Well,
the
no,
views.
in this
We have
case, the land in question is not the land immediately across the house. It's the
It's
back
kind of
towards the intersection.
Okay.
down a little bit.
And that's where there keeps getting to be confusion, but between Westwoods and Stonyfield.
Okay.
Be Farm Road and Stonyfield.
What about an afternoon?
Because it would be nice to have you there so we know we're looking at the right lots. 'cause
Yeah,
they're only
yeah, we gotta,
lots.
you know,
You know
when
what I
could
mean?
you meet us there?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I said, I'm in Norwich all day Monday. Tuesday afternoon, I'm free right now.
I'm free after 3 on Tuesday afternoon.
We have a meeting at 5.
We have
Just
a
so
meeting
you
at
know. We
5.
could do it right.
We could do it
No,
before the-
no, because we're gonna do some
Okay.
sorting. I can't do it.
Okay, how about, we can't do it at all on the 4th?
No, I could,
I
but
can
earlier,
just
like
bring
at 2
Lily.
or something.
I can bring Lily at 2.
Okay.
Can you do it on the 4th at 2, Jeannie?
I think we should
I mean,
do
it
just without Lily. Sorry.
without Lily.
Sorry.
She didn't,
I think,
well, she wasn't a problem yesterday.
well, I just,
She wasn't.
Oh, but we do have to walk the land a bit, so.
Yeah, that'll make it difficult.
There's 7 members present.
yeah.
So what day are we looking at? Tuesday,
You're talking about Tuesday.
the 11th? No, the 4th.
I can get Phil to watch her. He's watching it right now.
Okay.
So we're doing it at 12? Is that what we're doing? No, Tuesday, we're at the afternoon, at 2. Tuesday afternoon at 2.
Okay.
Or for
Yeah, I
you.
should be able to do that.
And do you want to meet at the town hall?
Yes,
Inside?
yes.
Okay, meet inside.
Did your mother say they can go in the house on Thursday?
Two. All right.
Okay, 2
Tuesday,
o'clock on the 4th.
2 o'clock on the 4th, you're gonna meet us at the house.
Yeah, we'll be
Yes.
there like 2:15, 2:20.
You
All
can
right,
get his number.
2:15 on,
Oh, yeah, can I have your number?
802-869-1214. That's my landline, so that one.
I babysat for you and your brothers.
I know.
Okay, all right, let's stay, all right, Doug? Yes.
I'll make a motion we recess this hearing.
Okay, second,
I'll second it.
okay, Laura, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, moving right along.
There's 2 copies.
Hot tub time
Thank you.
machine, how about that?
Did you see this, Karen?
Yep, I
Yeah,
got it.
make sure, Judy, do you have
What
it?
are we looking at? I was
Do
putting
you have
it
the,
there.
his, Michael's information?
Stanley is
Oh,
limited
this?
to this life.
Oh, why? Am I the chair?
No,
No,
I am, but.
I
you want
have
it?
this
You
stuff.
want his though, his stuff?
Oh, yes.
That's his stuff.
Please. Okay,
Wait, that's part of it, that fell off of it.
okay, got it. Okay. This
She's
place
like,
that's
just straight.
an hour to
Keep it all straight.
keep it- I don't even know what this is.
Time
What's
machine,
this
hot
thing?
tub time machine.
62 Moon Shadow, correct?
Moon shadow, moon shadow.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait, this isn't isn't hot tub time machine next?
yes,
Oh,
yes, it
that's
is.
not,
He's around now.
Okay,
I don't know what all this is.
so I'm gonna open the hearing for Hot Tub Time Machine LLC. Is there anyone who feels they can't participate in this hearing? If not, Ula, have you,
He's an attorney, he's fine.
okay, wow. All right, and Brian, will you present your packet?
So the subject property is located at 62 Moon Shadow Drive. The current assessment's $4,333,300. The initial preliminary assessment was $4,710,500. There was a reduction of $380,200 at the formal grievance stage. This is a custom log home, 10,000 square feet. It's going to be one of what I would consider one of the threshold properties in the community, where it's basically one of the most valuable single-family residences in Ludlow. We have not viewed the interior. However, the property has been on and off the market multiple times. It currently is off market. So the majority of the data, not only from me being on the exterior multiple times, but also there's been a plethora of interior photos, so I'm quite confident in the data. However, still gotta be very, just be aware that there's a lot more to count in a 10,000 square foot house. I think there's like 7 or 8 fireplaces alone, in the home itself. We have some decent comps, obviously. The best comparable came from 2022. I believe that is Longview Drive. For $4 million.
Yep.
So that's comparable to 433 Longview Drive. So again, it's a smaller home. I would say similar finishes, log contemporary. The Longview Drive, best views in town, no doubt. It's, I think,
I'm on a conference call, but somebody help yourself figure out what's
Yeah.
where, okay? Thank you very much.
Rita, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. So same sales comparison approach. We have our 6 comparables on our comparable grid. The indicated value from those adjusted sale prices with all 6 comps is $4,288,817. Again, justifying the current assessment, of which is my opinion, the value should be maintained at. A little bit more context about this property, going back in its history. There have been some transactions, there have been some issues in the past from the initial construction with some of the logs, stuff like that. I think the majority of it's been remediated. However, that is a question I would have if I had the ability to ask the owner, do those issues still persist? So because a concept that I think is very important, again, for the BCA to remember is that, yes, 10,000 square feet, yes, very nice. However, volume and economies of scale, the carrying cost to maintain a building like this is monstrous. So if there are still physical defects of the building from its original construction that still exist, that would be something that, the VCA should definitely be cognizant of and try to get an answer on. An example of carrying costs beyond like taxation and fuel, to re-roof this home would likely cost like $400,000 to like replace the roof. So again, just something to consider. Yes, it's very nice. Yes, it's very large. It's in a very nice location, ski on, ski off. But there are thresholds to these values because of the responsibilities that come along with the financial responsibilities that come along with owning a property of this size, this magnitude. That's all.
Okay, all right. Just,
I believe I
Alicia?
just checked this off. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you all set?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Sam Doxson. I'm here on behalf of Peter Wolf and Hot Tub Time Machine. Just to challenge the current assessed value of this property. As to start things off, as Mr. Silvestri just stated, the best comp here is that 33 Longview Drive. So that's kind of the base point for what I'll be comparing this property to along the way. Because both properties sold in 2022. And I guess, let's see if we can share. If you guys aren't familiar with the area, let me just see if I can share my screen. Do you guys allow screen sharing? Yeah.
Will's on it.
So, we don't have his information,
It's that letter.
okay?
Are you guys able to see the screen?
So,
Where's the letter? No, where's the letter? I haven't
Where's
seen
the
it.
letter?
that was,
It's from the attorney. Down right there.
it's in your
Just for-
original packet. So, Sam, you've got about 5 minutes to present to us, so,
Okay,
I appreciate
Okay, well,
your screen there, but, just,
I'll speed this along. I did not realize that it was quite that tight on my end. So to orient you 62 Machado is the current property, 33 Longview is right here. They're almost next door to each other. In 2022, when sold for $4 million. In 2022, when 62 Machado sold, it sold for $3.4 million. 33 Longview is currently assessed at $4,070,000. So it has not appreciated hardly at all in the past 4 years. 62 Machado has appreciated by over 30%. It's now being assessed at $4.3 million, which is $1 million higher. So it's unclear to us why two properties that are very analogous and right next to each other, one is not appreciating at all, and the assessed value is essentially the same as it was sold for 3 or 4 years ago, and one has had $1 million added to its assessed value. During the grievance hearing of Mr. Sylvester, it was mentioned that part of the thinking was that the sale price back in 2022 was suppressed by the potential ongoing issues with the exterior and roofing. As the affidavit or declaration there from Mr. Wolf states, there were no ongoing litigation when he purchased it. There was no disclosure about the roof or exterior having significant issues. There is litigation between owners back in 2018 that settled in 2020 relating to the logs along the ground and roof that has been settled. And in the intervening time period, the property is sold once for $3.3 million and once for $3.4 million. So there's no indication that there are ongoing issues that are suppressing the value. These are just reflective of the actual market value of this property. And you might ask why 62 Machado, subject property, is selling for less than 33 Longview when 62 Machado is substantially larger in square footage. And the answer is just simply a house can be too big. I think we can all agree that houses can only be used for so much space. And the concept is backed up by appraisal analysts across the country with the idea of super adequacy, which is just at some point, the maintenance and heating costs of a property grow so large that they outweigh the benefit of the gain by the additional space, which Mr. Sylvester was kind of discussing. And so it's simply that, like, because the property is so big, it ends up limiting how many buyers would actually even consider this property, and that restricts its market value, which is why it sold for $3.2 and $3.4 million in the past 4 years, whereas 33 Longview sold for $600,000 more than that. The question is just being assessed for even more money than what 33 Longview is. There's also discussion of the fact that 62 Machado was bought fully furnished, and as Mr. Wolf's affidavit shows, about $300,000 of the purchase price was attributed to the furnishings. Those furnishings can be seen in the pictures that were provided. All the furnishings in the property are still the same furnishings that existed at the time of purchase, except for a couple couches which are not included in those pictures. There's also, even with the purchase price that occurred in 2022, $3.425 million, that price is not even reflective of what was actually paid. What was actually paid was more like $3.2 million for the price for the property and all the furnishings, after some negotiations related to fireplace heating and window concerns. So just across the board, everything indicates that this property's value should be more in the $3.5 to $3.25 million, especially compared to what 33 Longview's assessed at. Yeah, it's being assessed at $500,000 higher than where, in our view, it should be assessed. That's kind of that is the gist of our point. Is just 33 Longview is the clearest example of where this property should be, and it is instead being assessed for significantly more than 33 reviews.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. We'll go back to Ryan to recap.
Yep. No, I don't have anything further
Okay.
to add. Yep.
All right. Questions from the board? Alice?
Ryan, how does it work with regard to the furnishings?
Sure, good question. So, personal property needs to be claimed on the property tax return form, basically the receipt of sale of the property. It never is claimed. So there is a place to put the amount of the sale price that was personal property. We have the same issues with condominiums. I would say 95% of all transactions in town are what would be turnkey or fully furnished. And we don't have the data to back out any of that personal property amount from any of these sale prices. So the advice from the tax department, from PV&R and our district advisors that oversee listers and assessors, is that we use the sale price as is. If we don't have the information to adjust the sale price for personal property, we can't adjust it for personal property. The reason why personal property isn't claimed typically on that sales receipt is because that allows the buyer to then finance said personal property if there is a mortgage or not. They would also not pay transfer tax on that amount if they were to claim it. So that's what I always, especially with transfer tax, which just increased pretty significantly here in the state over the last couple of years. It still baffles me why closing attorneys and buyers do not allocate a dollar amount for personal property, because like in this case, in some of these cases, it could be, hundreds of thousands of dollars, of which they're choosing to pay state transfer tax on. So that to me, again, is kind of baffling.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna appoint the committee. Go ahead, Atlas.
For Mr. Dodson. What is the goal and price that you're seeking?
3.5, 3 3/4, he said.
Was that question what price we're seeking?
Yeah.
I think our assessed value that we're seeking is in the area of like $3.7, $3.8 million. I think that's an accurate reflection of how properties have appreciated over the past few years based on a purchase price of 3.4, 3.3 million, depending on how you view the reductions at the time of purchase.
Okay.
Any other questions? Can you respond to that, Brian?
In what way?
Is that a reasonable amount?
Well, so, I mean, mastery appraisal, so the comparable sale at 33 Longview is about 4,000 square foot less, right? So that is a considerable amount of space. It's an entire house less, basically, and they're right next door to one another. And the percent of increase from their prior assessment to their new assessment, that appreciation rate, there was still, I think, there was still data baked in from the litigation and the issues stemming back to 2018, 19, and 20, where there was additional depreciation added on to that prior value for those misimprovements. That then needed to come off. So that's why they saw a larger percent increase than their neighbors, is because their value was depreciated more due to those characteristics that now have seemingly been corrected.
Okay.
Mastery appraisal software also, to make that adjustment for economies of scale, we have built-in size adjustments for economies of scale that are applied to all properties. So basically, the dollar per square foot will become less as you get higher in square foot amount, right? So, your 5,000, your square foot 5,000 would be worth less than square foot, 4,500 if you were valuing each square foot for each price. So that's how we build in economies of scale for the entire community that affects everything based on an average size of home in the town. This is just it's well above that size. So we do We do make additional size adjustments for homes that are an outlier, that are far outside of the average size home. However, here, it's hard to really make that allocation, to really make that value. I mean, the property's been listed on and off, I can't quote list prices. People do it to me all the time, so I'll do this estimates, 4.6 for whatever that's worth. I wouldn't bring that to the bank. But again, it's going off of that unit count and the fact that the basis for the majority of all valuation is size, right? Size, location, quality, condition. This size is vastly superior. However, with that does come exorbitant additional costs. So where do we find the actual residual value that takes off of market value is up to the buyer. Frankly, it's up to the person, it's up to the buyer in what they can withstand. For annual carrying costs, it does limit the buyers, obviously, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't sell and couldn't sell at the highest market price that we've seen in town. So which is basically where we have it at 4.3. I look at it basically, we have a house next door that sold for $4 million, basically capping out it's basically a threshold sale for town for a single family, right? I have something that's next to it that's nearly double the size, and it's valued only $330,000, $400,000 more. That's kind of how I look at it.
Thank you. All right,
Jump in just to follow up on that
go ahead.
quickly. So I guess, as Mr. Vestry is talking about, it's hard to adjust for the fact that this property is so large, but we have clear data, hard data, showing how the market is treating this property, because the next door property, 32 Longview, sold within months of 62 Moonshadow. 62 Moonshadow sold for $600,000 less than 33 Longview, and now it's being assessed for more. And there's no clear explanation why then suddenly there's that jump in assessment. The market views this property as worth less than 33 Longview. It's too big. There's not folks that are interested in buying a property with this much square footage when it still only has the same amount of bedrooms as 33 Longview.
Okay, thanks for your comments. Volunteers, Alice?
I'll go.
Jude,
I'll go.
would you?
Yep.
Would you chair it? Please.
Sure.
Okay.
And Doug said he'd go.
And Doug?
Oh.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I need
Myself,
numbers.
Doug, and
Okay.
who else who's the third person?
I
Me.
am.
Doug and Judy.
Here's Doug's number.
Wait a minute.
Judy's getting numbers and we're gonna, when we set a time for the committee to view the property, need to make sure someone's there
847.
to let them in.
Yes, as far as the timing, I know it sounds like you guys are scheduling a fair amount for next week. My client recently underwent a fairly significant medical procedure and is out of contact this week. So as far as scheduling, could we push it to the second week in August at some point so that I can make sure that we have time to coordinate?
I can only do August 10th, because the 11th we have voting, and I'm leaving on the 12th for vacation. So August 10th is the only day pushed out that I can do.
Which day?
August 10th.
Monday.
It's a
Monday.
Okay. August 10th?
Yes.
That's the only day I can do that week.
Is there a time that works best for you all?
What's good, 10, 11?
Whatever's good for you.
Let's do 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yeah, no, let's do 11.
11.
11's better.
Need a town hall first?
Yep.
Okay.
11 o'clock on Monday,
August 10th.
So
10th.
Judy,
Yes.
do you have his contact?
I need your contact number.
You need my contact number?
Yeah. You're Sam, right? Are you Sam?
Yes.
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 Sam,
Dotson.
D,
802 861 7000.
D.
So the committee is gonna contact you to confirm that August date.
Perfect.
And who will be there? Who's the person that's going to be there?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
I will contact you when, in a couple days, or when will you be able to?
Yeah, a few days works, or I can get your contact information, contact you.
Okay.
and hopefully I'll have
Why don't
an
we
answer by
do
then.
Okay, why don't we do that? 802 591 1281. And my name is Judy.
Can you repeat the last four again? Or is
Yeah,
that a good one?
1281.
Great, thank you, Judy. Yes, I'll follow up with you just to confirm that the time works for everybody.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we close this hearing.
Recess,
Recess, I'm sorry, recess.
I'll second.
okay. All those in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
Am I, hi, it's Rita DeBeck. Am I gonna be here today?
Right, Rita.
That's the question.
You're next.
We all are.
Great, thank you folks. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
There's three there, Doug.
Okay, so.
Is this the last?
So I need.
Yes. Yes.
Can I look at this?
Yeah, it's the last one.
Did Pat hand you a stack of papers for me? Because she took all the ones. I want to put it with her stuff. Thank you.
We're meeting at 0.
We're ending at 0. Okay, gonna open the last hearing for today. Rita, okay, help me with this, Brian. Last name.
Babbage.
Tabachnik.
You're the chair.
Okay, sounds good. We're
Tabachnik.
ready to go. Okay. Is there anyone who needs to recuse themselves from this meeting for any reason? If not, Ula, can you administer the oath?
Do we have anything from him?
Rita, are you there?
I am, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the oath, Rita. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I didn't get any.
Yes.
No, just what he
Okay.
said. Just what he said.
I'm gonna ask Brian to present his packet to the board.
So just a little bit of background here. So Rita, unfortunately, she did get in a request for formal grievance within the allotted time. Slipped through the cracks. We were not able to schedule her a formal grievance, which is why we made her eligible for BCA and we're here today. So this is really her first opportunity to kind of grieve the property, give her evidence. Background on the property. The property was purchased November 2025 for $2.1 million. The current assessment for 80 Spruce Lane, which is the subject property, is $1,942,800. We are below the sale price. This is a good example as to how mass reappraisal works and why we're not just gonna set a value at that property sale price, because we consider all sales that have occurred over a 3-year sales window to set value. So this, our assessment of 1.9 is showing that the 2.1 is above market value, right? And that could be attributed to Rita's giving me a bunch of inventory, that there was a good deal of personal property included with the sale, which the model itself has kind of sniffed out, right? So we're considerably, we're valuing it, again, at 1.9, sold for 2.1. The sale price is the best indicator of value. However, like I was saying, we use all sales to set value, not just one specific sale. The lesser assessment to sale price does reflect that there was personal property, in which Rita will also confirm. Again, same approach. There are multiple quality sales on the lake, in the high millions. Waterfront, as we've spoken about, this is on Lake Pauline, so it's a little bit of inferior waterfront to Lake Rescue, which is baked into the land value. The land only being for waterfront, $468,700. The building being valued at $1,474,100. It's a quality, newer, contemporary style home with quality finishes. So this home is a quality home. As for anything else, so again, I'll kind of just use this as a benchmark. This is a sale on 25, it's comp 5 on Archibald Lane. This is across, the home is across the street from their lake access on Lake Rescue. So it is on Lake Rescue versus Lake Pauline, however, they have to cross the street to get there. It is also a 660 square foot cabin. Okay, so it's a 660 square foot cabin. They have to go across the street to the water, sold for $712,500 just last year. So just again, 660 square feet versus the subject home, and access to the water is inferior. However, that does, I think, account for the difference in value between Lake Rescue and Lake Pauline. So again, not a direct comparable, but a benchmark, right? A benchmark as to what value truly is, around the lake properties in Ludlow. That's all.
Okay. Rita, would you like to present your packet? And what do we have?
Over to Ryan and to Ula and to Jenny, the personal inventory, which if it's in front of you, you can see is extensive. I have one set of knives that's close to $2,000 that came with this purchase. And I had the option of buying either furnished or unfurnished. I could have negotiated with the seller if I wanted everything sold, like let's say at an estate sale. So I do think the value of the personal property should be considered. I understand what I more or less object to is I sort of feel that I have been, I wouldn't want to say neglected, but certainly told that I don't have any standing and that, I'm going to be denied. And Ryan told me this up front, that he's done this hundreds of times and I'm not going to get anywhere. And I asked for the benefit of legal counsel, which I put in writing, and I requested to do everything in writing. Unfortunately, because I missed the grievance area, and I've only owned this property since November. I've only been here a few times. I'm not familiar with the lay of the land. I know that's not a good excuse, because I do own the property, but I barely know how to turn the lights on here. And I have reached out to an attorney. I have not been able to get an attorney to give me advice on this. I did indicate to Ryan that I did want to get an attorney, but it's been such a short window, days, to get an attorney, since I've been told that I'm on this meeting. I'd like to request, since I do feel that the personal property should be taken into consideration because it's so expensive. I did send you over the page of personal inventory that was considered on this. And also, this property was a bidding war, which required sold for 2.1. And at that time, I was not given advice that this personal property would not be considered in the sale. When you think about the purchase of a house, I live in New Jersey. It's unusual for a house to be sold with personal property. Most of the time when you get the house, it's vacant. So I guess part of this was my own ignorance as to how things are done here in Ludlow, Vermont. But I do think that I should be given more time to get an attorney, especially after the presentation that Mr. Johnson has just given, where you're talking about a 10,000 square foot house, and they're looking for a reduction in price. I don't think my house is 3,000 square feet. I mean, I could be wrong, I don't have it in front of me, but if I had to guess, that's about where it is. So for me to be at 27, it's 27 and change taxes, and to have gone up by $1 million, I think the valuation on my property is high, and I think that the personal property that came with the house should be included, and you have a full list of everything. And I would like the benefit of 2 or 3 days I was given of notification of this hearing. And the fact that I had already been denied without ever being heard, I think I should be given some consideration.
Ryan?
Yeah, sure. No, so, again, there's scheduling issue. The conversation we had was basically looking at the sale price versus the assessment, right? And basically saying, had you formally grieved, I would have denied you at that stage, which then would make you eligible for the BCA hearing, right? So if there's no like formal grievance result, right, you're not eligible for a BCA hearing. So that made the appellant eligible for BCA, which also now, Rita, makes you eligible for the 4th level of appeal, which is to a state hearing officer or to Superior Court, of which you'd have ample time to secure an attorney and legal counsel. Those wouldn't be scheduled out for months from now. So the apology on the miscommunication on the initial scheduling, and on the communication, obviously we're dealing with hundreds of folks doing this. But we did ensure your process forward, where you are here today at BCA, where our value could be changed. And then you are also eligible for a 4th level appeal. Again, that is either your choice to go to a state hearing officer supplied by the tax department of Vermont, or to Superior Court, in this case. The inventory, and then just to the inventory. So the inventory list that I saw didn't have any values on it.
No, I can see.
So if there's no values allocated to that, there's no way for me to adjust the value. And again, 2.1 included the personal property. We're significantly below that 2.1, we're at 1,940. So that's allocating for over $100,000 in personal property, I would say at this point. Again, this value wasn't set purely on the sale of this home. It was set based upon the sales of all homes in the lake area over the last 3 years. So, when there's a bidding war, that's an indication of value. Obviously, it's a desirable property if there are multiple people bidding and trying to purchase it. So I have no evidence at this point, and I haven't walked through the property. I have no evidence at this point to say that the value of 1,942,800 should be changed. And to the just acknowledgement of, you will have ample time to secure legal counsel, and you are eligible for yet another level of appeal after this.
So at this point, I'll appoint a committee to see the property. You can ask for this if you want. Is it something you would want to? No.
Not necessary.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Alice.
So I'm wondering, given the situation that she wants to have an attorney and she didn't have enough time to secure one, would it be possible for us to schedule it at one of the next meeting that's coming up? Just recess it to a certain date and have her come in then to give her that opportunity, rather than having her have to go to the next step of an appeal beyond us. Seems like that, if that could work out, that would be one way of taking care of this. Who knows what the result might be, but at least it would give her some opportunity to have an attorney that she requested.
Suppose I've never seen it done before, but you recess this meeting for the inspection with the opportunity if both parties, i.e. the town and the appellant, agree on further discovery. So I would say, in the light of the circumstances here, if it was the board's pleasure, you could recess discovery right now. reopen that hearing whenever we reschedule potentially yesterday's hearings of which we need to reschedule, which again, will give more time, but as far as whether or not it's adequate, I can't say.
Rita, we haven't rescheduled the meeting from yesterday, but I suspect it'll be next week at some point. Would that give you enough time to?
I can try. I reached out to an attorney, he hasn't gotten back to me, but I now have the name of Sam Dotson and a phone number, and since he's even already done,
There you go.
I mean, not to be, but, he seems to have done a lot of legwork, and he is already familiar. Let me say this, I love the house, I love coming to Vermont, and in some ways, this was very fortunate that I didn't get, a lot of time, because it forced me to take a vacation I wouldn't have normally taken, and I have, I'm sorry to have had the interruption, I have workmen here at the house, I have air conditioning, but I have no heat. So I consider myself to be, part of the community. There's a lot of people who come, who service this house, I have landscapers and cleaners and people who watch and people who plow the driveway. So I feel like I'm
Rita, what we're gonna try
I don't know much about it.
Okay, what we're gonna do is, we'll notify you when we've rescheduled, the hearing from yesterday, and hopefully that'll give you enough time to come back and present, your information.
Can we do another Zoom call? Because I know my schedule, I live in New Jersey, I'm only here, for a couple of days.
Okay, well, yes, the next meeting will be on Zoom.
They all have to be hired.
Right, they all will be,
Okay.
so yes.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Because what is accurate is you already have pictures of the house. They're accurate. I only bought it in November. There's
Okay.
nothing,
All right.
there's nothing questionable. I'm not disputing the condition of the
Okay.
house. It's in great shape.
We'll consider all that. I'm gonna entertain a motion to.
I'll make a motion that we recess the discovery and reschedule it for the next.
Date uncertain.
Right.
Yeah.
To be announced.
Yeah, date to be announced.
I'll
Okay,
second.
second by Terry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right,
Thank you, Jean. A
motion to adjourn?
very effective meeting.
Second.
So,
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
I'll second.
What is this one? Possible trust.
All in favor?
Aye.